Episode 1, The Wedding That Never Was. You know what they say, blood is thicker than water. But sometimes the people closest to you can stab you in the back deeper than any stranger ever could. This is exactly what happened to me. And let me tell you, karma has a way of coming full circle. My engagement was all set. Everything was perfect. The boy, Armand, was educated, well-mannered, from a good family in Riverside City. My parents were happy. I was happy. Little did I know that my own aunt, my father's younger brother's wife, was about to pull the rug out from under my feet. She called Armand's family and dropped a bombshell. She told them I had some secret disease, that I'd had surgery, and that I could never become a mother. Can you imagine? One phone call turned my dreams into dust. The boy's mother believed every word. She called my mother and gave her a piece of her mind. But that wasn't enough for her. She called me directly and said, "Listen, girl, why are you so wicked? Your parents are in such trouble because of you that they're hiding your disease and trying to marry you off to innocent people. I think there's not just this problem. Who knows what else is wrong with your character? God only knows if you're even decent." I was furious. What are you talking about? Who told you all this? But she wouldn't listen. When you hear the truth, it burns like chili powder, doesn't it? Fine, I'm coming tomorrow. I'll teach you a proper lesson. The next day, something strange happened. Armand's mother came to our house and demanded the ring back, the same ring they'd put on my finger when we got engaged. I'd already taken it off the night before because I knew what was coming. My mother handed it back and said, "God does everything for the best. It's better we don't become relatives with people like you. Rather than marrying my daughter into a family like yours, I'd rather see her dead." Armand's mother didn't say a word. She went straight to my aunt's house and put that same ring on my cousin Maya's finger. That's when we understood the whole plot. My own aunt had betrayed me out of pure greed. You see, Armand was rich, his father's only son. No complications, no other siblings. The temptation was too much for my greedy aunt.
Episode 2, The Seeds of Lies. My mother confronted our aunt. "How could you do this, Nasreen? My daughter is like your own daughter. How could you do such a dirty thing to her?" But my aunt completely denied everything. She played innocent and said she knew nothing about it. The audacity. Then she had the nerve to say, "Sister, you're thinking wrong because you're angry. I haven't done anything wrong. It's all destiny. If it was meant to be, the marriage would have happened one way or the other. Your daughter and this boy weren't a match. That's why it didn't work out. What's the point of getting angry?" Can you believe the nerve? My aunt had literally stolen my fiancé for her own daughter, and she was talking about destiny. From that day on, my cousin Maya would come to our house just to show off. One day she came wearing a new gold chain and said, "Sister, Armand gave this to me. It costs 1 lakh rupees. A few days later, she came with gold earrings. "Look at these earrings, sister. Look at the design." When I didn't respond, she said with a smirk, "Do you know who gave them? Armand sent them." Then yesterday she came and said, "Sister, I'm going to Bali Island." I was shocked. "Where are you going?" "Bali Island. Armand is taking me there." "But you're not even married yet. Go after the wedding," I said. She laughed out loud. "Your thinking is so old-fashioned, sister. People go on vacations with their boyfriends all the time. They date. And he's going to be my husband anyway, so what's the problem?" I said, "It's a sin. Fear God. If that's your way of thinking, then I'm old-fashioned. Now get out of here and go talk to people with modern thinking like yours." But Sheila didn't stop there. She went around the neighborhood telling everyone that I was bad-mouthing Adnan's character, that I couldn't stand seeing her happiness, that I was jealous because Adnan didn't marry me. I was completely fed up. Tears came to my eyes. I could only complain to God about this pain. Episode 3. The Accusations began. Maya went to the Bali Islands with Arman in February and stayed there for about 15 days. A month after they returned, she got married to him. The first 2 months of their marriage went beautifully. But then, suddenly Maya came with a terrible accusation against me. She told my mother that I was secretly in love with Arman, and that's why there was trouble in her marriage. But she didn't stop at telling just my mother. She spread this lie all over the neighborhood. To my mother, she said I was in love with Arman. But to others, she said different things. That I called Arman day and night, that I had told him I'd be happy to be his second wife, that I didn't even need to live in his house, he could keep me anywhere outside. The next day I was sitting by the pond with my phone. The network doesn't work well in the house, so I came here to scroll through Facebook. Just then my aunt came and stood next to me. "What are you doing, Zara?" I didn't feel like talking to her, but I replied, "Just sitting here." My aunt looked at me closely and said, "Are you talking to Arman? Did you stop talking when you saw me?" My temper flared. I couldn't control myself. "Aunt, you've gotten old, but fix your character. You're my own aunt, yet the way you behave, enemies don't act like this," I said and left. A little while later, my aunt went to my father crying, "Brother, your daughter and my daughter are not the same to you, are they? Your niece and your own daughter are not the same blood, are they?" My father said, "Yes, they are the same." Then my aunt started crying harder. "I've always treated your daughter like my own, loved her so much. And today your daughter's calling me names, saying she'll teach me a lesson, that she'll skin me alive and make shoes from her skin." My father immediately called me and asked, "Zara, did you say all this to your aunt?" I was so angry. My father knew everything, what my aunt and her daughters had done to me, what they were still doing. And yet he believed this woman's words. I said angrily, "Dad, I didn't say any of these things to this woman, but I should have said them. In fact, just saying them wouldn't be enough, considering how wicked this woman is. If I could actually skin her and make shoes from her skin, it would give me some peace." My father got angry, stood up, slapped me and said, "Get out of my sight. I wish you would just die."
Episode 4. The family turns against me. I left my father's presence with tears streaming down my face. But I knew my father had hit me out of helplessness. If my uncle had been alive, none of this would have happened. Because uncle wasn't there, the problem arose. My father couldn't say anything to them. Even without him saying anything, my father's sisters would come and say all sorts of things. They believed whatever my aunt said and claimed we couldn't stand to see my aunt's family in peace, that we were jealous of their land, and many other accusations. My middle aunt came to our house. She lived close by. Without listening to any explanation, she blamed everything on me. She told my mother, "You can't keep an eye on your daughter. And how old has she gotten? Why don't you marry her off? She's reached that age. How much longer will you tolerate this? Girls go bad because of their parents' fault. If you had married her on time, would she be doing all this with Maya's husband?" My mother was so hurt that she bit her tongue. "What are you saying, sister? You're believing what they said without understanding the situation." My middle aunt got angry. "I shouldn't have come to your house. You're taking Nasreen's side instead of mine." My middle aunt left in anger. Then she called my other aunts and told them who knows what. From then on, they all went on strike. They swore they would never set foot in our house again. We wouldn't have had a problem with them not coming if only my aunt and Maya would stop their unnecessary hostility with us. For some reason, they kept creating one problem after another, especially with me. They kept spreading dirty, nasty stories about me to everyone in the neighborhood. We couldn't say anything to them either, because if we did, the aunts would get angry and tell my father, "Your brother isn't here anymore, so you're troubling them." We were helpless, swallowing everything silently. But everything has a limit. They were crossing all boundaries. God says in the Quran that He doesn't like those who transgress limits. I lived in that hope, leaving everything to God.
Episode 5. The truth begins to surface. My father kept trying to get me married somehow, but whenever a marriage proposal came, it wouldn't reach the final stage. By then, words had spread in the village that my character wasn't good, that I had a bad relationship with my younger sister's husband. Some people exaggerated it even further, saying I had gotten pregnant from my sister's husband and had gone to the hospital to abort the child. Can you imagine? When families received marriage proposals and the neighbors gave them this news, would they ever agree to the marriage? My father was completely broken by all this. Thinking about these bad things, his health deteriorated. He aged quickly and couldn't remember things anymore. His anger increased too. Though he didn't show anger to outsiders, he showed it to the family, to my mother. And my mother passed that anger on to me, saying, "You should have died instead of being born. Because of you, I can't show my face to people." Sometimes she would cry a lot. Once holding my aunt's hand, my mother had said, "Sister, Zara is just like your Maya to you. You always say Maya is like yours and Zara is like yours too. Please don't say anything more about my daughter to people. I'm begging you to save my daughter's honor, sister." But my aunt made this even worse. She went around telling people that my mother was asking her to keep quiet while her daughter was doing wrong things with my son-in-law, giving her opportunities to do such things. What a bad woman, like mother, like daughter. These people won't even find a place in hell. After that, my mother stopped talking to any of them. Talking would only mean more problems and complete loss of dignity. Finally, after great difficulty and many attempts, a marriage proposal was almost finalized. The boy was very good, religious, a primary school teacher. His father had died and he lived with just his mother.
Episode 6. Justice at last. The boy came and saw me, said he liked me. Then his mother came to see me, and she liked me too. Her behavior was wonderful. After liking me, she sent someone to the market to buy a ready-made gold ring. She was going to put the ring on my finger and finalize the marriage. Fix the date right there. But the boy's uncle, who had come with his mother, created a problem. Somehow he had learned about the false rumors regarding me and my sister's husband. That uncle suddenly called me and said, "Zara, come here and listen to something." I went closer. Then the uncle called my mother, and the boy's mother too. In front of everyone, he asked me, "Zara, you must tell the truth. Did you once go to the hospital and have an abortion? Is this true?" I didn't know what to answer. I felt like shouting angrily, but I also thought, people like me can't afford to get angry. My father was trying so hard to get me married. The marriage wasn't happening anyway, and there were so many false accusations about me in the neighborhood already. People like me should stay quiet and digest whatever anyone says. Some people are like this. They haven't committed any crime, but they have to take responsibility for it. They have to silently endure the humiliation that people create. I said nothing. I just stayed quiet. I only noticed 2 drops of water falling from my eyes. My mother turned her face away and covered it with her sari. The boy's uncle patted the boy's mother and said, "I understand. Sister, everything is clear. There's no need to sit here and delay anymore. If I had known all this before, I wouldn't have even drunk a glass of water here." The boy's mother was gentle, well-mannered, and intelligent. She didn't say anything about this. She sat quietly for a while, then told my mother, "Sister, marriage requires consultation with everyone. If I decide this marriage alone and leave, everyone will be angry and create trouble." But after the guests left, my mother cried her heart out. Crying, she said to God, "Oh God, what kind of test have you put me through? Neither I nor my daughter have ever harmed anyone, never wished ill for anyone. Then why did you write such sorrow in my daughter's fate? Why did you put us in such shame?" After this almost marriage broke, my aunt went around telling people loudly, See what happens when you play with people? Look at the result. The girl is becoming an old maid at home, can't get married, and never will. Who will come to marry a girl with bad character? Is there a shortage of good girls in the country? But then, karma struck back hard. I started hearing strange news. My aunt was calling someone on the phone saying Maya was going to have a baby, so her younger daughter, Ria, had gone there to help. But in that house, Ria got involved with Armin in a relationship, and Maya even caught them in an intimate situation. There was a huge fight in Maya's house. Within a week, something terrible happened. Maya returned home, but Ria didn't. Maya came back screaming at her mother, "You're wicked, and your younger daughter is another wicked one. She destroyed my marriage. She'll get punished for this. And if I ever find her, I'll kill her with my own hands." Time passed. 1 month, 2 months. Ria never returned home. Maya wouldn't go to Armin's house either.
Epilogue, full circle. Then Arman's mother came to our house and gave my aunt a proper scolding. She said, "You're a wicked woman, a troublemaker. You gave false accusations about Zara and broke that marriage with my son. Then you did black magic and fooled me into marrying your ruined daughter to my son. After marriage, this girl did wrong things with my brother-in-law's son. Talked on the phone with 10 different men day and night. Then you sent your younger daughter and she ran away with my son." The truth was finally out. Maya, unable to bear the shame of what Arman's mother had spread throughout the village, took her own life that night by consuming poison meant for killing insects on leaves. A beautiful life ended. If she had wanted, Maya could have lived this life like a normal person. But sin never leaves anyone alone. Some people see its consequences right in this world. 6 months later, Ria suddenly returned home. Arman had left her in Delhi and gone to Riyadh. They couldn't even file a case because they had been living together without marriage. Ria kept asking Arman to marry her, but he kept making excuses, asking for more time, and then suddenly left the country, abandoning Ria. My aunt nowadays comes to my house often, sits with my mother and cries asking for forgiveness. My mother doesn't say much, just says, "Ask God for forgiveness and don't sin anymore. Repent. Then God will forgive you and I'll forgive you too." And you know what happened next? The same people who used to gossip about me started coming to my mother to apologize. Many came to say, "We spoke badly about your daughter without understanding or investigating. Please forgive us." My mother smiled sweetly and said, "I forgive you." Forgiveness is a noble quality. When I forgive people, God becomes happy and will surely forgive me one day too. Spring has come to my life. These days, marriage proposals come every day from big families. But my mother says, "I won't marry my daughter into very big houses. I don't have greed for rich people. My daughter doesn't have greed for these things." And then on the 15th of Falgun month, a boy's father came with his son to our house. He said, "I'm a poor man's sister, very poor, hand-to-mouth situation. But Alhamdulillah, my son is good. I can guarantee this. My house may lack wealth, but it won't lack love and affection for your daughter." My mother liked them both, and you want to know the beautiful twist? After we agreed to the marriage and I went to their house, I discovered my father-in-law had lied. He wasn't poor at all. He had a beautiful house and property. My husband wasn't just doing any small job. He was a high-ranking customs officer. When I asked my father-in-law why he lied, he smiled and said, "I was scared, my child. I heard that your mother wanted to marry you into a poor family, that she didn't like rich families. That's why I said we were like that. But I'm just a girl from an ordinary family. I didn't study in any public university. I'm not very beautiful. I don't have any job. So why did you choose me?" I asked. My father-in-law smiled again. "Marriage isn't with wealth or jobs, my child. Marriage is between human beings. These days, finding a good girl or a good boy is difficult. In this world, finding a real human being is hard. After searching with great difficulty for a long time, I found a priceless treasure like you, my child. I couldn't say anything more. I felt my eyes getting wet with tears. I wiped those tears with my sari and said to myself, God, how merciful you are. No one loves your servants more than you do. And that's how this story ends. Truth always wins, lies always fall. The aunt who tried to destroy my life lost both her daughters, one to death, one to disgrace. But I, who suffered silently and trusted in God's justice, found happiness beyond my dreams. Remember, what goes around comes around. The wheel of karma never stops turning.